Hello, everyone. I want to start whispering because there's a session happening on the steps, but we are again on Placemaking Week Europe at the Keilerpand in Rotterdam on our beautiful Good Place bench. It's in full action. We have had some amazing conversations with the community of placemaking, and today I'm joined with Donica. Thanks for joining and sharing this opportunity with us. Tell us a bit more about you, your work, and what brought you to this festival.
Yeah, those are a lot of questions.
Who are you?
So my name is Donica. I'm the founder and director of RAUM in Utrecht, and I'm also a mom and somebody who lives in Amsterdam.
So you live in Amsterdam and work in Utrecht. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Tell us a bit more about RAUM and what is it, and what does it do?
Well, at RAUM we try to use art, design, culture to make sure that a lot of people feel welcome in a public space, because we believe that it's not the case right now. So we have a lot of parks and streets and squares, but do all the people of the city really go there, meet there, feel that they're welcome, and interact with each other? Mm-hmm. And that's what we try to do.
And it's not temporary?
It goes from temporary to structural. So we are working, we have a temporary space at the moment. We've been working there for about 7 to 8 years. And but we are also designing, together with all the partners that are involved in the meantime, we are designing the structural building. So that's very interesting, yeah. Building and squares, of course, because there's public space at the bottom of everything that we do.
And would you call yourself a placemaker, or is it? How did it start, or how did the idea come into place?
Well, I call myself a creative placemaker, okay. Because we use art and design. But when I started working, because I'm art and cultural project manager from origin, but I started getting interested in city development, in public spaces, in co-creation. And when I started, I thought I was very innovative, and I thought I had this brilliant idea about programming the city. And then I learned about PPS, who had been doing this since I was born. So yeah, so that happened.
Boof.
Yeah, it was an illusion to think that. But you know, I'm doing my thing now.
But something like RAUM looks innovative, mm-hmm. right? And when you look at other cases around the world.
Yeah, we think so. We hear that, fortunately, from a lot of people, that they think it's innovative. I think it's one of the reasons that it can be innovative. It's because we get a lot of backing from the municipality, mm-hmm. Because they try to do something top down. They try to create a cultural facility top down. And then they said, okay, we have to do this differently. So they worked on a process called placemaking via programming. Mm-hmm. I got the assignment, I co-created a plan together with 45 stakeholders, mm-hmm. And that became RAUM. And so the city has been backing this ever since, making sure it's an organic process, or that it's possible to be an organic process. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of the ideas that a lot of people have can take place when you get the space, the trust, and the backing to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually quite funny if you think that the name is RAUM and they gave you the space to experiment, to program, to make that impact.
Yeah, well, the whole process that they initiated, but also the way that I work, is pretty experimental. So we do believe that we have to do stuff and then learn from it and then kind of take it from there. So what it was in the beginning is a bit like it is right now, but also totally not. Mm-hmm. So you just try to try stuff out and try to learn from it, because also that's not easy. I mean, you can do stuff and then you're like, oh, that didn't work, and then you have to figure out, so why didn't it work and what do I have to do better? So that's something that we've been doing now for several years, yeah.
What has been the biggest challenge? If you had to pick one.
Yeah, right. Sorry, it's a difficult question. I think for me, it's about the democratic processes. So how do you? Because I've been doing co-creation for 15 to 20 years, but I realized that I've only been doing it in thinking up plans. And for me, that's very easy. Just get a group, as diverse group as possible, around the table, get a process going, and then make up a plan that contributes to the needs and wants of the people that are, at that table. That are, you really try to get a diverse group as possible. What is the most difficult part is making sure that people feel involved in a more structural manner, that they truly can take ownership of space. And at the same time, you want to have something that people who just want to visit an activity also understand. So creating these different processes, creating different ways of participation within different kinds of activities, and then also making sure that people from the outside kind of understand what it is that you're doing, because we're not a theater, we're not a museum, we're not a festival, we're nothing like that.
Yeah.
That has been one of the biggest struggles, and I think we figured it out. So let's talk again in 5 years.
Statement. So, I mean, we're here, of course, talk about a good place or what a good place is. How would you say, another difficult question perhaps, how does RAUM really contribute to a good place?
I think it's about making sure that different kinds of people feel involved and feel welcome. And when we started, we said we wanted to be for everybody. Okay, I realized that is not possible, because everything you do about inclusion is also about exclusion. So you have to choose. We choose groups within our neighborhood who feel that they're not seen and heard enough.
Right.
So we put a lot of effort and focus on these groups, and we start from there. So I think that's one of the things that is difficult, because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of trust. You have to have a lot of the same people in place for a long period of time.
Right.
Because if people change all the time, then somebody says, okay, who are you? I just talked to this person, I trusted the person, and now there's a new one.
And it's like going back to square one every time.
Yes, it is, because you also lose knowledge. And I think that's one of the most. We need innovation, not only in design to design good places, like good benches, but we also need innovation in activities, and we need innovations in the processes that lead us to these good places. And having all of those three working together at the same time, that's not easy. We all need to learn a lot about that.
And is that why something like Placemaking Week comes into place, to share learnings, also find inspiration and talk a bit more about how this collaboration could happen more?
Of course. And I think it's also about feeling that you're part of a big group of people that are all advocates for a better city, because sometimes you can feel alone. In your quest. And when you feel alone, you sometimes get a little bit discouraged. And we need, yesterday somebody talked in our workshop about the need for legends. So with citizens, to have legends who are ambassadors for better places. And I think, we all need to be legends, and we all need to, because it's hard work, you need stamina. You need to have kind of a fighting, skill. And you need to be happy about that. And you also need to be aware that a lot of the stuff that you do and think of will fail.
Or it takes time.
Or it takes time, or both.
And then fail.
And then just, move on.
If you would say RAUM to be succeeded in 1 or 2 years, you're already, 7, did you say? 7, 8 years?
Yeah, it's been 8 years. Yeah, I didn't think I would last this long. But it's still so interesting, and I still learn so much. So.
And somebody giving you the opportunity, the space to keep on going.
Yeah, and again, that's in this case the municipality, took a chance. I mean, they also took a chance because they didn't have any other options. So I always think that's kind of interesting as well. But you see it with the development, with developers as well. I mean, you need the people who own these spaces, who kind of really create the space because they have the backing of the money also. And if you can get into a kind of level playing field between developers, municipalities, and placemakers, city makers, whatever you call yourself, it doesn't really matter. If you can create some kind of level playing field in which we realize that we all need each other to make these livable places, not only for the people themselves, which is the most important part, but also because you get better development, you get better buildings, you get better cities.
Yeah, because you turn around the thinking and the system.
Yeah, and I think there's something to do within that, also maybe within the placemaking week, and I know they've been working on it. That more different kinds of organizations realize that it's in their best interest as well to make sure that we get more livable, more better, and also more creative cities.
I'm also thinking that every city, every street, how small or big, could use a RAUM.
Oh yeah, yeah, and RAUM will be different in every city, yeah, because it's
No, for
also,
sure, but the kind of construct and the results are different.
Yeah.
Same as the programming might be different, but the intention of it, even if it's from a parklet level to a square level to even bigger than that, could use that.
I do believe that, because what I think is interesting about this concept is that it's a combination of art, culture, societal issues, societal work, and city development. Yeah. And it's this triangle, and if you can kind of find a way to be in the perfect midst of that. With the democratic processes and making sure the citizens are involved at the base of that, I think you can make public spaces that can be the heart of a neighborhood, but can also be an instigator to make sure that other public spaces get inspired as well to maybe do things a little bit differently if they need to.
Yeah, and I was having a conversation earlier with City Councillor of Cork, where it is also about communities, like launching ideas that are embraced by communities, that they feel a sense of ownership. Mm-hmm. Is that it's also about that. That's something, how something can live on and be sustainable.
Yeah, exactly. And I still see that the notion of the importance of our public spaces in creating these connected communities is overseen. Mm-hmm. So the idea of the public spaces, I think, in the minds of a lot of developers and municipalities is it's just somewhere to recreate. Yeah. But it should be, and it has all the potential to be the essence of connected community lives in our cities. Yeah. And the potential of that, it's so big and it's not being used. Yeah.
And that should be more the goal of these projects than just creating something fun or playful or whatsoever.
Which there also should be, I mean, sure. We all go to festivals. The result
should be a connected community.
Yeah, well, there should be more organizations in place that are also working on that, because you also need the festivals or activities or workshops that are for a specific community, because you need different kinds of communities to feel welcome, and to be able to do that, they need to have things that are for their, their community, their kinds of people. Yeah. But we have too few organizations in place that are working on connecting these different communities. Yeah. And if we want, now I'm going to the big ideals, if we want to have these cities and these worlds where different people truly live together in a meaningful way, then you need organization and spaces in place that work on that. Period. So
this is a call to all these kind of companies to stand up and have them involved more.
Yeah, well, I don't know if if all the companies are, So we need to find ways to make sure that what we do is about shared value also in an economical way, but also in a societal and a way that connects to our personal values as human beings. So you kind of need to find the connection between these different kinds of values to be able to do this, and that's a lot of work. And I think Placemaking Week should be a space to instigate that.
They're gonna watch this video for sure and follow up on it.
Let me know.
Watch this video. Last question before we go.
Yeah,
What do you think of our Good Place bench?
it's horrible.
Finally, somebody who's honest.
No, it's nice. It's nice. Do you have different kinds?
This is 1.0.
This is 1.0.
2.0 will be as soon as we can launch one way which we can experiment.
Yeah.
Then we'll design one that is here to stay,
Yeah.
and something that will be duplicated and grow into a network of Good Place benches
Cool.
around different places.
Can I share some knowledge that we just
Sure.
dug up?
Sure.
Because we were talking to elderly people,
Yeah.
because we have a lot of elderly
Yeah.
people in our vicinity, and we were just talking about how can we make sure that our public space is more for you. And they said, yeah, there are a lot of benches, but they're not for us. And actually for me, that was kind of how do you say? I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Sorry. Eye opener, because they said, we don't walk good, we don't walk properly, we have all these kind of issues with our body. Sometimes we have a rollator, I don't know what it's called in a different name, in a different country, a different language. So we need benches that are higher.
Okay.
So we can easily sit in them, but also easily get out. So
Yeah,
this
because
is
if it's
too
too
low.
low, then
They cannot get out. They
Yeah.
need a lot of help,
Yeah.
which is also a way to kind of connect people. But
Okay,
they
yeah.
need to be around, and they need a place where they can park their rollator.
Yeah.
So we created a bench
I
like
saw one
that.
on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, it was we also did a conference and we walked together with elderly to kind of, try to imagine how they perceive public space. But for me, it was such a simple thing.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of people who are watching are like, we already knew that. Well, I didn't know that. So yeah, it was very interesting.
So this is great because we're taking all these insights as part of our research to create the ultimate Good Place bench.
Yeah. So you get this one for free.
Yeah. If we can launch a Good Place bench at RAUM, then let's do it.
Bring it on. Yeah.
I like that. Donica, thank you so much for your time
Thank
and sharing your wisdom, your experience, your knowledge.
Wisdom, huh? Okay.
Let's call it
Yeah.
wisdom.
Okay.
Why not?
Cool. Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just believe in it, and then others will be inspired by it.
Yeah.
All right.
hopefully.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Yeah.
Everyone else, ciao.
Bye.